Welcome back to AwareWolf for You. My name is Jacqui Mancuso. Today I am joined by Neil. I'll let Neil introduce himself in just a second. I don't know much about this guy. He came up on my TikTok FYP over and over and over, and he talks a lot about trusting the universe, trusting your gut, letting the universe provide for you, knowing that it's all inside of you. And I was just taken back by his messages. So I reached out and he agreed to join us here on the podcast to tell us about who he is, what he does, and how he got here. So thanks for joining us, Neil.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
So I guess we can start at the root of how we got connected. Like, what do you do now? I looked a little bit at your website, but can you give us a little bit of a background?
Um, I mean, it's kind of in flux all the time. What do I do? Like who am I? What do I do? All that stuff is like all over the place all the time, I feel like these days, more and more than ever before. And the more I try to lock myself into one thing, the more like the other part of me screams like, "Nah, get me out of here. I don't want I don't want to be in this box." You know? But one of the things I do is I like to write, and so I have a book and another one on the way, and I like to self-express. And so one of the ways I do that is through videos, and I'm completely unattached to the outcome, what happens with them. And I found that brings me the most happiness and peace inside of it. And a lot of people leave me a lot of nice messages. Some people leave me messages, "What are you on, man? What are you smoking?"
Yeah.
But most, I'd say 99% of the people is like an overwhelming resonance with whatever's coming through me. Um, so I say I channel, but probably something more accurate is I communicate. And yeah. I mean, what do you think I do?
That's a good question. Um, at least on the TikTok platform, I think that you boost confidence in other people. You remind us that life isn't as hard as we're taught that it's supposed to be. I feel like you have this resounding message of just like relax. Whatever you intend is what's going to be brought to you. Like it's already in you. You just have to find it. And I guess I can ask how you got there because I did just see a recent video where you're talking about you had a past in crypto. So that is a I feel like those are two completely different worlds where that was and where you are now. What did that look like?
Yeah, I mean, before that, even I was in like wealth management, working for big corporations and in finance and selling financial products and advising people and um, really kind of bought hook, line, and sinker into that old paradigm. I think you get your identity. There's two places you get your identity from. One is the world around you, and then there's the inside world. And I think when we all get here, we assimilate to the world around us in order to survive, like in order to do well here, you kind of have to know how to communicate, for example, with other people. Um, and so you get shared beliefs and then you live by those beliefs for a while, and maybe you get great results, and maybe there's something inside that tells you there's something bigger going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's been happening these last 5, 10 years, 5 years for me specifically, um, is just we're all waking up to a grander perspective of what it means to be a human being. And when that's when that identity you get from the world around you sort of dies or gets threatened or um, it just becomes less, it just matters less, then you start to look somewhere else for your happiness, and you close your eyes and there's this whole other world in there.
Yeah.
Uh, and we're all connected, that same thing. Like when we all close our eyes, it's a similar world for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we all have that in common. And I guess I started doing transcendental meditation about 5 years ago. And yeah, it just got kind of crazy from there.
Can you define what that is? I've heard of that type of meditation. I'm just not super familiar with it.
Yeah, it's basically you have a mantra that they give you. It's an ancient Indian method that's thousands of years old where they give you a mantra, which I later found out is three random letters. So but they tell you not to tell anyone. They go forth and tell nobody. And
Oops.
but the cool part about it is while you're doing this mantra, so you start outside, like mine is SRIM. SRM is what they gave me. So SRIM, 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 SRIM. Then you go inside and you SRIM, SRIM, SRIM. Now other thoughts are gonna come along. Oh, I forgot to feed the dog. It bounces off of the mantra. SRIM, SRIM, SRIM. So it doesn't get through. It's like, so it's this vibration that you repeat, you chant, I guess, and then you might go like shroom, and you kind of get lost in it. Eventually, somewhere in that 20 minutes, you lose the mantra,
Okay.
which for me, I can do like I don't really need the mantra too much. I don't really need the mantra at all anymore, but you lose the mantra and you get lost in there and you're in the quantum. And they call it
Mhm.
cosmic consciousness. And the more time you spend in there, the happier you are, just sort of like naturally. You stop needing like things around you to make you happy. You get your identity from somewhere else, and then you connect more with what some people call your higher self, some people call your true self, your soul. Your soul kind of comes into your body more, and then if on top of that you turn on your chakra system, you get that tuned up. Now your soul kind of unpacks itself inside of you. And so that's like a mixture of transcendental meditation and then this other coursework that I found called reality creation process, which a friend
Yeah.
of mine channels.
Mhm.
And I help him. I guide a lot of people to his coursework because it's so profound. And he created this beautiful online 40 plus hours of content. And I do some coaching and stuff with people. I don't like to call it coaching, I call it guiding and way showing, just leading is even just showing people what's possible.
Sure. I'm in a similar everything that you've been talking about as far as like how do you define yourself, what do you do? I'm in a similar situation. I just want to help people and I don't know how to define myself and maybe it's at the point where I don't need to. But the coaching thing is something that I'm starting and I even the word coaching feels like I'm no better than you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Like let's do it together.
Yeah.
So I appreciate hearing that from you too.
Yeah.
Didn't how did your mindset change, or I guess what big shift did you notice coming out of the corporate money world into the quantum money system that you work with now? Can you talk a little bit about that transition?
Yeah, I mean, sure. So you're taught that certain things matter, and that word matter is kind of important, right? Like what matters in your life. Like you hold something physical, it matters, right? That's part of how you survive. Like you come here to get in this society, you learn what matters to you. Um, and then you live and you experience, and what matters changes to you, changes for you. So like when you're young, like your first car might matter a lot to you, you know? Once you've had, it's like pizza. Once you've had 10 slices of pizza, the 11th slice doesn't matter that much, you know? But the first one is like, oh, cool, you know? Um, so yeah, everything starts to matter less. And so same thing with money. When you if you set out with the idea, like I studied economics and was a financial advisor for 15 years, so you set out with the idea that money is this like um thing that's greater than you that will bring you something that's more than you already are, then after enough slices of pizza you realize, this pizza's not actually adding anything to me except extra weight around my belly, or like it's slowing me down when I want to go for a walk, or that kind of stuff. I'm getting lightheaded here. It's the same thing with anything. And so, you know, it's not money is a form of abundance on the planet, and that's perfectly fine, and that's great. I'm thankful for the money I'm about to go get my hair cut. I'm really thankful for the money in my pocket that I'm going to get to go do that with. And but like I don't need 10 haircuts today, and I can't live in 10 houses today, and I can't drive 10 cars today. I mean, I guess I could, but it'd be uncomfortable.
Sure.
um so it's like there's only so much that you even want to think about, like when you got 10 cars, you got to get 10 titles done every year, and you got to get 10 insurances and new windshield, new everything, I mean, anybody who's had a car that they've had that's high maintenance knows that that's an experience, and that might be an experience you're totally cool with and you love that, and that's great. I really like the car that I have that's super low maintenance, that is easy and effortless and choiceless and all that stuff. So I also appreciate that it's safe and reliable, and it's really comfortable and has all the technology that I need. I appreciate everything about it. So I'm not saying one's bad and one's not. It's just that you always have what you need. And that's quantum. You always have what you need. You know that song where that guy's like, everything I have, I already need, or everything I need, I already have. Everything I have is all that I need. Anything I desire. Well, you don't always get everything you desire, because what you desire might be your small self saying, I need this mansion on the beach in Malibu that costs $30 million with a view to be happy. And your soul self goes to you, BS.
Yeah.
That doesn't, and if you got that today, then you would know today, because I've been to Malibu and I've been around those places, and they're not happier than you. Actually, Malibu's like the number one drug rehab place in the world per capita. So it's like I noticed that those people weren't actually happier than anybody else. And not to say you can't have money and be happy. It's just that money doesn't bring you happiness. So where does happiness comes from? Right here.
So let me play devil's advocate a little bit. What about like basic needs? Like we all need to make money to feed ourselves and to have a home and a car, most of us. Like what kind of mindset can you talk about that would do you get my question?
Yeah, I mean, you what you said was you made a premise statement. You said we all need money to have something, right? Well, my car is paid off. It's not a new car. It's 2008. It's beautiful. It's paid off. So I don't really need any money to do it. And
Mhm.
then you start to get creative with things, and you start to realize that actually money is just the middleman between you and the things that you want. You've made it. You have made it the middleman between you and the things that you want. Well, when you stop making it the middleman and you just allow the things that you want to be here already, now you don't really need that much money.
To do things just kind of appear for you, like friends help you out or something just happens to be there when you need it, those kind of situations?
Yeah, I mean, I found accounts that had $2,600 when that's what I thought I needed to have a good Christmas for my daughter.
Mhm.
Um, I've, but then like the most recent Christmases, she doesn't even open the gifts from the year before. Half of them go in the freaking drawer at the end. So this year was like wasn't a priority for me to buy her Christmas presents at all. So what used to cost $2,600 now costs like, hey, let's go maybe $100. Go do
Sure.
something together. Um, so it's all your perspective. Like, do you need a certain anything to be happy? I used to have $5,000 guitars and $3,000 guitars, and I'd play them twice a year. Now, I mean, I have a few guitars, but the one that I play every day costs $129. It's a Cordoba um, Coco guitar.
Sure.
That you know what I mean? Like, and it brings me more happiness than any guitar I've ever had, all of them combined.
Mhm.
Uh, so it's just like you choose what matters. That's what I'm saying. Like what matters to you changes. And if you let other people tell you, whether it's your mother, your father, the school system, your Movies was a huge one for people, the television, you know, YouTube, commercials, advertising, where your attention goes, energy goes. So if you let other people control what you pay attention to, then you're going to be in a circle of needing and wanting. And musicians have been talking about this for years, and people from the East have been talking about it for thousands of years. The thoughts you put out come back. So you are the creator of your reality through your perception. And when you change your perception, you change your reality. And if you perceive that you need to have money to do certain things, then you do. I do a lot of things donation based.
Mhm.
I wake up often and I have extra money in my account. So, in a sense, yeah, I do have money for things, right? And it feels like it's totally free because I just wake up and I give with my heart every day, which is my highest excitement. So I'm like super pumped about it. Yeah, let's go. Like excited, right? And then I have the money to pay for stuff. How that money comes to me, I became unattached to that. When I was in the old world, I was like, I needed things to happen, come through this way. I had a belief system around it, and a lot of money flowed to me that way. And then when that went away, there was a while where there was not so much money flowing to me because I believed that it needed to come through that. But then when I opened up and I stopped like feeling bad about it, like, oh, I needed to ask my mom for money that month, you know? Well, actually, when you think about it, you're not being a burden to somebody. When I ask you for help, I give you the opportunity to help me from your heart. Guess how that makes you feel?
Yeah,
Better than just about anything else you can do. So
absolutely.
it's a win for you. It's a win for me. It's a high vibration experience. There's no shame in it or guilt or any of that stuff that you got taught that you needed to feel. That those are all not you. Those are bags that you got given that you carried with you this far, but you can put them down now.
It's so relieving to hear. So I'm in the spiritual community, I'm in the spiritual world, and there's like a million different ways to do shadow work, to let go of that baggage, to let go of that shame that you feel for XYZ. Do you have any technique that you use, or is it really just a dude mentality? Like, nope, it's gone. Forget it.
Well, I think it's practiced. I think the only reason you ever feel bad about something is because somewhere along the line, there's a negative belief that says that you should. And negative beliefs can give you positive experiences. So they're not like terrible things. Like for example, we once were infinite, and through that infiniteness, we um got bored, and we wanted to, instead of sitting and talking to ourselves, you and me wanted to be able to talk to each other like this. And I get to see your smile and you get to see me, and we get to have this interaction. And so in order to do that, we had to limit ourselves through a negative experience. We had to say, okay, we're going to limit ourselves to only have sight, smell, taste, sound, and touch. All right. I think I named them. And and so through that negative, like that reduction, we get this positive experience. So a lot of people have like childhoods that are negative in some sense, but later in life, it creates a positive experience. And so, any experience that anyone's going through that's watching this right now or hearing this later, it doesn't matter if you perceive it as negative or not. The worse you feel it's negative now, the better it gets later because it's a wave. It's like this is no experience, flat. We are all one. There's nothing. But when you go down and it's like you pull it back, then it goes up again later. And so, and you're kind of like doing this. You can't always stay super high. You got to come back down to ground it back into like your life. And it's a constant evolution. It's infinite. You're never going to stop until you get off the planet, in which case you're going on another experience with a different wave. So
Sure.
you can't get it done.
It's a very good way of looking at it. Thank you. Do you
But
have,
to answer your question, you practice feeling good because when you feel good, and now a negative belief comes up, you get a bill in the mail, and it starts making you feel bad. That's a negative. That tells you there's a negative belief there, about that bill being bad. Debt isn't bad. That's a belief that you have. Debt, the richest people in the world have the most debt in the world. So your definition of debt is what's making you feel bad. Change the definition of it, and then you won't feel bad about it anymore. When you stop feeling bad, you feel good. Guess how your life gets? Your life gets good. Not necessarily because everything changes around you, because you choose to feel good in your life. And at the end of the day, your experience is just how you felt all day.
It really is that simple.
You know?
Do you have any last words of advice for the listeners about how to, I don't know, be the best version of themselves, make their life as enjoyable as possible?
Yeah, like love yourself more, be kind to yourself, you know, enjoy the journey. The destination isn't what you really want anyway. It's just a way for you to call energy through you for an experience. So you already made it. You already made it. This is it. Congratulations. Yay, you made it. And like be the change you want to see in the world. The the whole thing about this awakening is at first it's for you, and then it becomes for everybody around you. And the only way that can happen is if you're willing to sit with yourself in the uncomfortable part. You don't have to be uncomfortable. I'm just saying, like, be willing, don't be scared to be uncomfortable. Because when you are not scared to be uncomfortable, the feeling will shift and it'll raise to match where you're practiced being. And you can do that with yourself first, your inner child first, your money stuff first, your medical stuff first, your relationship stuff first, all that stuff first. And then you can look out into the world and go, huh, hmm, I'd like to see human trafficking not exist in my world anymore. I'd like to see like harmony in the world. So you can actually go and look at human trafficking and instead of making it this like terrible thing and holding it in darkness, go, huh, I see how this served consciousness as an experience. And it's a totally valid option of
Mhm.
expression and it's beautiful in its own way. And I see that because we want to have a world with peace on it now, we've collectively agreed to that. Instead, we're gonna bless it, we're gonna thank it, and we're gonna take new actions in a new way. And then you get to be a way shower for others through your state of being as things come up collectively. And you stop agreeing to fear and taking action out of fear, which creates more of those lower frequencies for everyone to experience. And we all move into a higher paradigm together. So it's really simple, like you said.
It's just
It's just
not
about
easy all the time.
yeah, we just need people to be brave enough to love themselves and love the people around them, no matter what. Like, I don't need you to show up to me a specific way, eat a certain thing, believe a certain thing, watch a certain thing, make a certain dance to make me happy. And likewise, if you sh start being upset about something, I'm not going to come over there and look at it the same way as you to be unhappy. I'm just going to choose to see the best in it because that makes me feel better and sort of tunes me to this higher part of the wave, which allows me to have the experience that I want to have. Doesn't mean I never go down here. It just means I've practiced enough that when I get down there, it's like if you ski or something, you get off balance, you get your balance back real quick. And that's what we're all learning how to do. We're all learning how to keep our balance so that we can create with other beings who are operating on this frequency. You don't want to do karma through ETs, right? That'll be a short experience for you. You want to work out your karma with your human friends now and get your train your vibration where you want it to be, and then you want to meet ETs and have a party and exchange free energy and all the great things that come along with that, sustainable housing and all the rest of it. Um,
Very interesting. As you were talking, I completely forgot. I wanted to ask you about your fast. You just came off of an 8-day
oh,
food and screen fast.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How was that?
Well, it's funny. I just go along for the ride, like my soul. I don't have a clue what's coming next. I realized I have no idea. My personality has no idea. But I do get these messages sometimes. I get them through social media. And I got this message, and it was this guy. He just got done doing a 9-day fast, and I'm like, man, you're crazy. Like, I mean, in a sense, like I knew that I kind of wanted to do something extended for a while, but usually like 44, 48 hours. And I'm like, my wife wants to go have like a nice meal somewhere, and I'm like, yeah, let's go do that, you know?
Yeah.
And so so I get this message that way. I got another message from somebody else who we're all just permission slips for our higher minds to talk to each other.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so all the answers are inside of us, and we like to play this game like through the cell phone and stuff. So that's cool. So I get this other message that's like things from your past. I accept everything from my past that comes along right now because it was something from another version, and I accept the consequences, and I know that I can feel good now, and nothing really can touch me. So then I had this court date come up from a crypto hedge fund I owned like 5 years ago. And I used to like hire attorneys and like do all this long, like have a lot of meetings, and it was like a shake up experience, but I don't have any of that in me anymore. So, and one of the things I know that matters is self-expression, expressing yourself, like what we're doing right now with each other, right? And it can be like rearranging leaves in the corner of the room. It doesn't have to be like some grand plan to, you know, it can be easy. And so, anyway, so I go to court, and on the line was the judge could have put me in jail for 6 years. This is like a week, like 10 days ago or something like that now.
Wow.
And but I didn't believe that that was going to happen. The AG in the probation department wanted me to do work release, which was like where you go and you live in cells and you pay rent there and stuff like that. And I didn't believe that was going to happen either. Um, but I knew that all these things were on the table. There were options, and I was at peace with all of them. To be honest, I really was. I was like, okay, like I'm just, I'm gonna be good no matter what.
Yeah.
God
It's
is
just the
everywhere.
next part of the journey.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and this is what happens when you become fearless. Like when you truly realize that you don't have fear is an agreement, and so are your negative beliefs, and you don't have to agree to them anymore, and go down into the "oh, this sucks" and make them bad and all this stuff. You're just like, okay, that it is what it is. Ta-da. So
Yeah.
I go in there, and they run their like, and I know all about the courts. Like they've got this like quantum courtroom, they've got maritime law, they've got all this like this stuff that when you know about it, you don't agree to it anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're just scared of it or you hold it in darkness, you can't shine your light in there. So I think, in a sense, consciousness called on me to go in there and shine my light. And when you bring a match into a dark place, you light up the whole room, you know? And that's
Yeah.
what you're doing through your podcast right now. You're everyone who doesn't matter if it's one person, okay, or if it's a million people. Your candle lights that other person's candle that they go and they take, and then that candle lights somebody else's candle, and so that's how consciousness works. It's infectious. So
Sure.
so I go in there and I get to self-express myself because that's how you transform everything. If you have a relationship with somebody and they occur to you as being selfish, and you just say screw that person and you throw them in jail and you get rid of them or something like that, then you missed a huge opportunity for transformation for you, for them, and for consciousness. If you actually go and you talk to them and say, hey, when you did this, it made me feel like this. And then they can go, oh, I was doing that because when you did this, it made me feel like that. And then you guys can realize that you were probably just saying the same thing anyway. And then you can all go and have a hug and get on with life.
Yeah.
Like that is a more sort of evolved way to handle yourself. And so I brought that into the courtroom. I self-expressed myself. I didn't follow all our procedures because I didn't care enough to learn them all before I went in there. And I just was myself. And at the end of it, he gave me a week in jail in the intake place. It's a place where like a lot of probably 80% of the people were coming off drugs. Um, but I see the love in everybody and I aligned to the love in everybody. So I was protected in there. I
Mm-hmm.
had a peaceful cell, cave. The people that came, I think I got healing from a lot of them through the stories they told.
Mm-hmm.
They received healing through me because it's like what I put out into the world through social media was for them in that moment. And so I fasted. I know how food affects your DNA and I know how all this stuff works. So it was like the prime moment to just fast, you know?
Sure.
Um, so I didn't eat. And through that, boy, you really start traveling like, I don't know if you want to call them astral planes or whatever. When you close your eyes, the world, it's kind of like mushrooms or something. I don't do that stuff anymore. Um, but it's like that, but with a lot of clarity. And then your body's not digesting. So it's just the energy moves through you more. So I had a chance to get mad at the judges and the AGs and all that stuff, and then to get thankful for them and bless them and raise them to the upper octave and really appreciate the compassion that they had. And um, also, like, if someone judges you, it's because inside of them, they're judging themselves. There's a part of them that they aren't willing to look at. It's so uncomfortable. So instead, they take it and they project it on you and they make you the bad person. You
Mm-hmm.
can't be bad. Nobody is bad. Nobody is good either. You can't be good. Like when you drive your car, flies hit your window. Like you kill stuff. When you don't go to a party, you disappoint people. Like that is part of this life. When you make a choice, some people suffer because of it, but it's not because of you, it's because of them, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so that is how you transcend judgment. And when you stop judging things, now you find peace. So that's what happens when you fast. You find peace because you the things come up that don't match peace and they mess with you. and then and you get to go, you get to play with them and then thank them, bless them, and let them go. You know, but you also get to say everything you want to say to them and yell at them if you want to and be mad at them because they did these bad things. And then you say, oh shoot, this is just an experience that consciousness was having. It's actually beautiful in all these ways. And it's on its way out now. Because now we want another experience, you know, more of us are tuning to peace, love, and harmony on the planet and abundance and having there's no finite energy out there. Money isn't finite either. We found that out these last years. Like those are just belief systems. So that's why you always have whatever you need. Like if you believe that you always have what you need when you need it, then you do. If you change your definition of abundance to be the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it, the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. I always had it. I always had abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And you stop making it something that's outside of you. Now you start to feel good in your body. And when you feel good in your body, this reflection feels really good too. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. I appreciate you sharing your experience and going a little deep with the court case and everything. But just like you said, we're all just permission slips for our higher selves to speak to each other. I heard that you went on your fast. Another video came up about a girl doing a fast. So here I am, day one. I'm going to do 5 days. I've never done this before, but we'll see how it goes.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, if you want some permission slips to help you through it, if you've ever done a 2 day fast before?
No.
Okay. Well, you do you through your intuition, you know. I like I've been practicing for a while.
Okay.
Uh, but if you feel like a headache or something, you just get some Himalayan salt and put it in some water and have that. It'll probably take care of it. Um, you know, everyone has different bodies and different like glycemic things and stuff like that. So be kind to yourself, you know, like if you make it once you hit 24 hours, hunger goes away. Once you hit 24 hours, inflammation goes away in the body. Once you hit 24 hours, stem cells go way up in the body. Brain cells start growing. Um, you make it 36 hours, you reprint a whole new immune system. So, like, if it's your first fast and you made it 36 hours, that'd be pretty impressive, I think. You know? Um,
I like the challenges. Watch out. I don't know. This other girl said that like day one and two were hell, and then three, four, five, she felt like a completely new person. So I'm willing to give it at least the 48 to see how I feel.
yeah, 48 hours is magic. And you what you just can't get it wrong, you know? You
Yeah.
just do you and follow your heart, and whatever your higher mind's telling you to do is the right thing for you. But I will say, like around day 5, you start to feel great again, and you get all this energy. Like you actually have more energy when you fast than you do when you eat.
Mhm.
And that could be a belief, there are plenty of people that probably eat a lot and run, I don't know, far. But actually, it's interesting. If you talk to somebody who runs like 100-mile races and stuff like that, they're like, "Oh, I had a strawberry around mile 12, and then I replaced my shoes because they
Yeah.
were all done, and then that was all I needed." So yeah, I mean, food. We've been misled to think that we need to eat 3 times a day or 2 times a day. Um, because that keeps you more away from your higher self. Same with like alcohol, same with like excessive sex, same. It's just like with short-term hits like social media.
Mhm.
Um, it's like seek less on the outside, seek more on the inside, and you got everything you need. And then life gets fun because it's like stuff happens that stuff has come to me recently that like 5 years ago I was writing down in notebooks and like trying to manifest and all this stuff. And now it just comes. It's funny. I don't really care that much anymore. It's like I don't need it at all.
Mhm.
And that is powerful because you're like, oh, I'm the creator here. It's not some movie, The Secret. It's not some anything outside of me. Like this is all me.
I like that. I get that vibe off of you too, that it's you just appreciate everything, no matter what comes, like good, bad, ugly, whatever. Like, thank you. This is great. And it seems like you really have no desires anymore.
You know,
Not to put
there
it that way. That sounded a little like
Yeah, yeah, it's cool. Well, if you think of desire, it's like this part of the wave. You need it to have this part. But I think the life that I've lived already did all that. And so now I just keep the tune to this part. And like when those cops came and got me, we were all laughing our butts off and like off to the side of the courtroom as they were like, cops are kind of like a gang when you boil it down. It's like basically like the court system is organized crime
mhm.
and human trafficking with love. There's also like all those drug addicts that were in there needed a place to sleep and get off drugs. There's like a good side to it too. But when you look at actually how it's formed, you start to realize that it's totally not something that you want to recreate. They told you the cartels were in Colombia when they were right in front of your face in the movies the whole time.
Mhm.
So now in order to transmute that, you can't get mad at that. You've got to like thank it because it's you. It's a reflection exactly of you. So if you want to change it, you got to change you, not it. And that's how creation works. It's like you don't have to do it all because you are connected with everything. Just by you being willing to look at it and shine your light in there, creation will now go about, consciousness will go about rearranging the pieces. And that's why the old systems are falling apart now. And we're creating new systems so that we can all live lives that we love. And inside of those new systems is enough for everybody. There's enough energy. There's no need for anybody in the world to not have like lights and stuff like that for certain parts of the day. There's enough food for everybody. There's enough love for everybody. Everybody has the freedom to go wherever they want because guess what? You already do. And it's only through your agreement that you don't that gets taken away from you. Nothing gets taken away from you. It's all through your agreement. So when you become this soul, you get clarity on what you agree to, and you take responsibility for what you see in the world. And then you stop asking for somebody else to take care of you and to protect you and to stop bad things from happening to you because you realize that you create it all.
Wise words. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Um,
you. Thanks for listening. I appreciate the opportunity to
do
share.
you want to let our viewers know where they can find you, where they can get a hold of you?
You can get me like Shaboogie Max, Shaboogie Max on like TikTok and Instagram. Um, the RCP, the reality creation process, it's realitycreationprocess.com. Is Josiah's work. You can we do through my links, you can get my book, The 5D Currency Guide. If you don't have $10 for it, I'll send it to you anyway because it belongs with you. It's not, I didn't really write it. It just channeled through me. I've got a new one coming out soon enough. Um, I'm just here to serve, It's just like, just like whatever you're eating is serving you. We are all here to serve each other too. And when you give your unique essence to the people around you and you figure out what that gift is, and you start giving it, life gets really fun.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Neil. Very nice to meet you.
Lots of love.
Take
I'll
care.
talk to you soon.